NASA declares that our galaxy has around 300 billion stars, and there could be, in the known universe, more than 1,000 billion planets. Over the past few decades, more than 5,000 extrasolar planets have been discovered. The abundance of life in the universe is becoming evident. This is confirmed by exobiologists who say that similar physical conditions lead to the formation of similar entities. We can no longer look at the sky and believe with arrogance that we are alone in this absolute vastity. The UFO or UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, is the illustration in our sky of the manifestation of this extraterrestrial life. Over the past 75 years, there have been about 150 million sightings of unidentified flying objects. Since the beginning of time, our ancestors have been talking about fire or metal vehicles from the sky, the vehicles of the gods. These are the same UFOs that we are observing today. Renowned personalities such as former US President Jimmy Carter, airline pilots, military pilots, and many experts in aerial phenomena have reported seeing these devices from elsewhere. The Cometa report was prepared by many experts, researchers, and high-ranking military personnel, such as General Bernard Norlin, former director of the French National Higher Defense Institute. This document, titled UFOs and Defense, was submitted to the French President Jacques Chirac in 1999. This report concludes that the phenomenon of UFOs is real and of extraterrestrial origin. In 2024, on November 13th, the American Congress held a hearing entitled Unidentified Abnormal Phenomena Exposing the Truth. Testimonies from former military personnel and officials have emphasized the need to disclose these phenomena. Luis Elizondo, former Pentagon agent, stated that these non-human technologies would surpass our capabilities and challenge our physical laws. But beyond the observations, there is a message. A revolutionary message revealing the origin of humanity, transmitted by beings from elsewhere, the Elohim. The Elohim, a Hebrew term meaning those who came from heaven, are extraterrestrial scientists responsible for the origin of life on Earth, thanks to advanced mastery of genetic engineering and DNA. They created all life forms, including humans, in laboratories. The Bible is not a religious book, but the distorted story of this scientific creation. The Elohim are physical beings similar to us. They created us in their image, which explains our striking resemblance. The Bible itself confirms it. Let us make man in our image, in our likeness. Genesis 1:2-6. Just as there is no God, there is no devil or hell. It is inconceivable that creators full of love for their created children could reserve for them a hell of excruciating and eternal suffering for a simple contrary choice related to their demands. The remains of the past also bear witness to this extraterrestrial intervention. Sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, Tiahuanaco in Bolivia, the Giza Plateau in Egypt, with construction methods that remain satisfactorily unexplained, or the Barabar Caves in India, are all evidence of advanced technology present from the dawn of our civilization. A plethora of ancient traditions bear witness to this extraterrestrial influence. The Yakuba traditions of Ivory Coast, the Yoruba narratives of Nigeria, the knowledge of the Dogon people of Mali, the Mayan deities of South America, the legends of Amaterasu in Japan, or the stories of Gaulish gods traveling on flying shields, are all examples of this presence from elsewhere. DNA and genetic engineering are the key to our existence. This message questions the theory of evolution, stating that the complexity of life cannot be the result of chance. Evolution is a theory, not an absolute truth. Too often, facts have been adapted to the theory rather than the theory to the facts. The complexity of the genetic code of all living organisms defies explanation through chance. More and more renowned scientists are challenging this hypothesis. The beauty and complexity of living beings validate the ideas of brilliant human artists and scientists, assisted by technologies thousands of times more powerful than our current artificial intelligences and nanotechnologies, which are their precursors. As the Elohim say, could you realize by yourself that accidental evolution has very little chance of occurring to achieve such a great variety of life forms, the colors of birds, their amorous displays, the shape of the horns of certain antelopes? What a natural need could therefore lead antelopes or some ibexes to have spiral horns, or birds to have blue or red feathers, and exotic fish. It's the work of our artists. The great religious figures of the past, the prophets, were messengers of the Elohim. They transmitted their teachings, often misunderstood and distorted, translated into religions. The ancient peoples all spoke of human beings coming from the sky, from another planet, bringing knowledge. Moses, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, and even lesser-known figures like Kimpavita and Kimbangu from Congo were all messengers. Their miracles were technological feats of the Elohim to establish their authority, but men mystified them. Today, Rael is the last messenger tasked with restoring the truth and preparing humanity for official contact. For over 50 years, he has been traveling the planet to transmit this revolutionary message, awakening men and women through workshops that he leads according to the spiritual and liberating teachings of our creators, and preparing for the official return of the Elohim. Since 1945, we have entered the scientific era, an era of revelation. Humanity has entered a period of critical understanding of its origins thanks to science and technology. The Bible itself contains clues to the physical nature of the Elohim. For example, it is said that Jesus is sitting at the right of the Father. Now, if the Father has a right, then he has a physical body. Moreover, it is written, "Behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil." Genesis 3:2. This suggests that the Elohim are physical beings, and that science brings us closer to their level of knowledge. The Bible also mentions that the Elohim united with human women. When men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born from them, the sons of the Elohim saw that the daughters of men were beautiful. They therefore took for themselves women from among all those they had chosen. Genesis 6:1-2. This reinforces the idea that they were physical beings and not immaterial spirits. Now that we can stop believing and start understanding, the Elohim wish to meet us officially. But that depends on our ability to live in peace and use science wisely. The construction of an embassy, a diplomatically neutral location, is crucial for this historic event. The embassy is the third temple mentioned in Jewish tradition, and Rael is the announced Messiah in Judaism, the Paraclete of Christianity, the Mahdi of Islam, the Maitreya of Buddhism, the Nkwatulendo of Kimbanguism. He is therefore the last prophet, the last messenger announced to reveal the truth about our origins and restore contact with the Elohim, our creators. The message of the Elohim is an invitation to rethink our past, to understand our present, and to build a bright future. The time has come to lift the veil on the mystery of our origins and welcome our creators. This revelation answers the great existential questions that every human being asks. It allows us to understand that there is no single God, but extraterrestrial human beings from elsewhere. creating life through science. Just as there is no haphazard evolution, but a creation whose techniques have evolved. The Elohim, our creators, tell us in their message that they were created by other beings who themselves were created, and that we, earthlings, will one day scientifically create life elsewhere, on another planet. It is an immutable cycle without beginning or end. Life in this infinite universe is an absolute and permanent abundance. This is illustrated by the symbol of peace, the oldest on earth, the emblem of the Elohim, called the symbol of infinity. It is composed of two inverted triangles, and in the center, a swastika, a symbol of good fortune. The downward pointing triangle indicates that in the particles that compose us, there are infinitely small clusters of galaxies, inhabited by human civilizations, also composed of infinitely small humanities, and this to infinity. The upward pointing triangle indicates that we are on our planet, in a galaxy, constituting billions of other galaxies, the particles of a gigantic being, living on a planet, part of a galaxy, and this to infinity in space. In the center, the swastika symbolizes infinity in time, because an infinite universe in space is necessarily so in time. Nothing is lost, nothing is created, everything is transformed. The symbol of infinity invites praise for diversity and reminds us of this deep connection between all things through a harmonizing constant that is love. We can easily feel this and put ourselves in harmony with infinity thanks to meditation techniques. If you wish to learn our powerful meditations, transmitted by the Elohim themselves through their messenger Rael. If you wish to learn how to exceed yourself at your own pace and learn the keys to deep happiness, and also if you want to contribute to the construction of this embassy to welcome our extraterrestrial parents, log on to the website www.rael.org. Soon, the embassy will be built. You too, come help us welcome them. Join us and participate in the most important project in the history of our humanity. Welcoming our creators in an embassy.